Welcome back to another talk, chat, rant, expression. Today's topic is why I'm taking a break from social media. Why is social media so addicting? How can it kind of stunt our thought process and limit us from achieving, our truest potential? Did you know on average, people spend 2.5 hours a day on social media across the board? That is 17 and a half hours a week. And that's 70 hours a month on social media. And I don't know about you, but for me, 60% of the time that I'm on social media is probably, I'm very unconscious of what I'm looking at. I'm in the routine of flicking and scrolling and just kind of being stimulated by colors and photos and videos and laughing. And you could ask me 20 minutes after I was on social media, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you what I was looking at. 53.6% of the population is now using social media at 70 hours a month. That's an insane amount of time that people are unconscious and not being present within their daily lives. And I mean present in as, where am I? What am I doing? How am I breathing? How am I feeling? What is happening around me in nature? What are the sounds? People are actually just like obsessed and consumed by their phone. That's insane. On average, people have 7.5 different social media accounts. So that could be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Clubhouse, YouTube, Tinder, you get the point. All of those things are counting as a social media source. 7.5, it's actually 7.6, I think, different accounts. The scary thing about this is that people, including myself, and this is the reasoning why I needed to take a break, is people are becoming addicted to being on social media. And what they're being addicted to is the escape from reality and the release of dopamine. So when people are posting things and they're, waiting for likes and responses and comments, dopamine is actually being released from their brain. They're even proving that when you log into your account, you're getting a release of dopamine. So people are just flushing this out of their system on a regular basis, nonstop, and not really being aware of the consequences of what that's doing. And because there's such a release of dopamine, after you're off social media, you then have the urge to kind of do it again because your system wants to release that dopamine again. That works towards all different addictions in life. And that's one of the main things is dopamine being released into the mind, making you feel good, euphoric, and you want more and more of that. The other scary thing about, the amount of time that we're on social media and what big corporate companies are doing with the data that they're receiving from us, all of the advertisement, the direct marketing, I was talking about this one product and then I started getting the ads on Facebook, they're tapped into all this. This is gravy for them. This is major gravy for big corporations and marketing. Is the more time that we're on social media, the more they can bank our data and our likes and dislikes, and they can directly manipulate us by what we're seeing. And that's what kind of pisses me off about Facebook and Instagram is it's not an organic algorithm anymore. It is completely modified and suited for that account. And you're only seeing accounts and you're only seeing advertisements that they think that you should be seeing to have an influence on the way you're thinking, the way that you're purchasing, the way that you're going on your regular daily life. That's one of the main reasons why I quite often take breaks from social media, but right now specifically because I'm in a stage of creation in my life. I'm creating men's groups, I'm creating coaching programs, I'm working on one-on-one, I'm creating my website, I'm just kind of recreating myself. What I found what was happening was I would be working away on my computer on creating content for my website, and I would take a minute to step away from that, and I would grab my phone and I would start taking a look at my feeds. And then I tried to kind of get back into the train of thought that I was, and I'm struggling. I'm kind of relating it to the water flowing through the river along the banks. When we're not being interrupted by another source of stimulation, colors, videos, laughter, likes, dislikes, dopamine, emotions, when we're not being disrupted by those things, we're allowing the water to flow as a smooth river down the banks. It's continuous, it's moving. When we have social media part of our life, it's like the water hitting a dam. Boom, it's hitting resistance. It's going up over the dam and back down, and then we're trying to pick up the momentum again until we hit the next dam. For me, every time I strip out social media, I feel like I'm removing the dam in the river. And that's a big reflection for me right now. I'm like 6 days in of no social media, and I've been making video posts or video vlogs that I'm going to splice into a YouTube video when I'm done about the process that I've been going through. And a little like kind of sneak peek is the first 3 or 4 days I found myself like I was missing something. I was lacking something like stimulation. My body was actually kind of going through a withdrawal of stimulation. And then once I got into day 4, 5, and 6, where I am now, I'm losing that urge to want to like be stimulated. And I'm more in tune and aligned with like my own thought process. My thoughts and my creation is now flowing like a smooth river down the banks. You know, rivers are quite often dammed in different areas, but like a creek in the forest, a fast-flowing creek is just kind of continuous. It's going from one source down to the next, and then it's just continuing on its path of gravity. It's kind of how I feel like my thought process and my creation is starting to flow. It's starting to flow with gravity and be continuous and fluent. You know, the other part is of being addicted to social media and spending so much time online is we're not being present with ourselves. We're not being present with the moment anymore. And there's a lot of power in presence. And there's a lot of people talking about being present and mindfulness and breathing and yoga and meditation. All of those things are reconnecting you with yourself within that moment, right? When you're practicing yoga, you're connecting breath to body, to mind, to physical movement, to presence within that space, the amount of space that you're occupying, how you're resonating. And we don't get that when we're on social media. It's completely opposite. We're completely closing off. We're completely putting our energy into something that is not reality. The scary part is how much it's affecting younger teens and younger adults and how it's affecting their mental well-being. Depression is at an all-time high. Suicide's at an all-time high. Younger kids are depressed because they're not getting the likes and the comments and the fulfillment from social media, which is then making them feel not good enough and making them feel depressed. And that's really scary because social media and virtual reality is not reality, is not present, is not us. And it's taking us away from what's true to us. Just because we see it on social media doesn't mean that it's actually happening in real life. Just because somebody is portraying the way that they live, this fantasy life or this adventurous life, doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. You know, there are lots of people being authentic out there and sharing an authentic lifestyle and telling the truth, but smoke and mirrors is out there. And I just, you know, the example that I have for myself is a couple of years ago, I was on adventure every single weekend. I was highlining with my friends, camping with my friends, took all my holidays and I traveled in my van out west. And other than that, I was working full time. 40, 45 hours a week. And I would run into some friends in town and they'd say, hey man, I haven't seen you for a while. I thought that you were living in your van full time and that you weren't here anymore. And it's like, no, I'm working full time, 40 hours a week, man. I'm a weekend adventurer. But to them, they had this ideal vision that I was, living in my van full time and that I wasn't in town. But I was here. I was working away. So it's just an interesting thing. What we perceive on virtual reality isn't necessarily the truth in physical reality. For me, being in this time period of creation and reconnecting, I've had to get rid of that kind of distraction in my life. And I've felt a huge increase in power. I'm not missing it anymore. And, that was the thing is when I was on social media, I kind of felt like I had to keep up to date, keep up to, what are other people doing? And I would justify it with, I follow a lot of inspiring people, a lot of coaches and speakers and holistic healers. And, I'm going to find that next new thing. I'm going to get that new idea. And that's a bunch of bullshit. That's just like us justifying being on virtual reality. That kind of sums up how I'm feeling about social media, why I'm taking a break. And Think about this, and I challenge you to take a break from social media. You know, whether it's 24 hours, a weekend, a week, a month, take a break from it. Reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your own thoughts, see how it feels, reflect about it, maybe do a little journaling about it. You don't have to make a YouTube channel and video about it, but do some internal feeling and reflection about the difference that you feel in yourself, in your energy, in your attention, in your awareness, in your flow of thoughts. I'm always open for communication and discussion about these things, so feel free to reach out. You can check out my Facebook content. You can get at me on Facebook chat, that's still open, and you can email me, twagmar@gmail.com, if you have any questions or concerns. Stay tuned, my website is almost ready to launch. That is going to kind of outline my offerings or my service that I have happening, the course and group work program that I'm creating, and a lot of that's going to be based on personal practices, you know, doing these kind of challenges for yourself, 30-day challenges to the optimal you, that sort of stuff. So, you know, like, subscribe, share. I appreciate all the love and support as always, and we'll see you on the next one.